The Whispering Stones of Avaruun. Before the rise of kings, before bronze turned into iron, the world was a wilderness of spirits and wandering tribes. The Cathari were one such people, humble herders, known for their carved bone talismans and songs taught by the wind. But that year, the wind brought only silence. Their herds collapsed in the heat of a sudden unnatural drought. The rivers dried as if swallowed by unseen mouths. Children grew hollow-eyed, elders withered like leaves. No shaman could soothe the spirits, no sacrifices brought relief. And so, in desperation, Chief Herald invoked an ancient, forbidden idea: to cross the Black Shale Gate, a labyrinth of jagged cliffs said to hide a valley untouched by time. The elders pleaded with him not to. Shira, the seeress, wept openly. Avaruun is a wound in the world, she warned, a wound that bleeds darkness. But hunger is a louder voice than wisdom. And so the Cathari marched. Reaching Avaruun took 7 days. On the 6th, the wind stopped entirely, not weakened, but vanished. Even the sound of footsteps felt swallowed by the strange, choking stillness. On the 7th, they saw it, a valley of impossible geometry, where cliffs folded inward like ribs and the land dipped into a perfect bowl. The soil was black, soft, and unnaturally warm. The air carried a faint hum, like distant chanting beneath the earth. At the center stood the stone pillars, dozens of them, rising at irregular angles. Some were thin as spears, others thick as tree trunks. Their surfaces were impossibly smooth, with no marks of tools. They reminded Eral of teeth. The tribe entered anyway. Women unpacked bundles, children played among the stones, hunters explored the valley's edges. But by sunset, everyone felt watched. The whispers came softly at first. Shapes seemed to move at the edge of vision. The ground throbbed faintly, like a sleeping animal. The stones emitted soft clicks and sighs when touched. Chiral tried to convince himself it was imagination, until the children began speaking. Not in cries, not in fear, but in calm unison. Their eyes half open, their voices monotone. The seals weaken. We hear you. We welcome the warmth. Parents grabbed their children, shaking them awake. The children remembered nothing. That night, no one slept deeply. The stones whispered until dawn. For a few days, Avaruun seemed to bless them. Game appeared in numbers not seen for seasons. Fruit trees bloomed with unnatural speed. Springs welled up from the ground. But every blessing came with a price that only Shira noticed. The hunters returned with strange bruises, shaped like hands. The food tasted sweet at first, then metallic. The water shimmered faintly with colors that did not belong in water. The tribe felt stronger, but also unusually tired, as though something siphoned their dreams. And then Torin was taken. Torin was a skilled hunter, proud and fearless. One evening he wandered too close to the tallest pillar, a monolith 15 men high. He touched it. His body stiffened. His eyes rolled back.
He began whispering so fast it sounded like a swarm of insects. When others pulled him away, the stone resisted, clinging to his palms as if it had grown tiny hooks of shadow. When he was finally freed, strips of skin hung from his fingers. Torin didn't scream. He only stared. Later, he spoke in a voice not his own. "The hunger wakes. You warm our sleep. You make the seals thin." Then he died. But the smile remained. That night, a milky fog rolled down the cliffs. It didn't drift, it crawled. Inside the fog, shapes moved. Tall, thin silhouettes, too thin to be human, walking in unnaturally smooth motions, like puppets pulled by invisible strings. Their bodies flickered like candle flame. Hunters drew their spears. Shira chanted protective words. But the silhouettes didn't approach. They only watched. And the temperature fell until breath turned to frost. When dawn came, the silhouettes vanished. But their footprints remained in the soil, deep, sharp, and arranged in circular patterns, like ritual marks. Shira, driven by dread, approached the pillars alone. She pressed her ear against one and heard, screaming, pleas, chants, names older than humanity. And beneath all of it, a heartbeat, slow, labored, growing stronger. Shira collapsed, her hair turning white in a single night. When she awoke, she told Harold the truth. These pillars are chains, not markers. They hold captive the predecessors, the Shadowborn, the devourers of dawn. They are older than men, older than the sky. They were sealed here by gods whose names we no longer know. Harold refused to believe it. Then the cracking began. It happened at dusk. A roar shook the valley, not from above, but from beneath. The ground arched upward like a breathing chest. One pillar cracked, then another. Thin lines of dark light seeped through the breaks, light that moved like liquid smoke. The tribe screamed. Children clung to their mothers. Animals fled into the cliffs, where they died instantly, their bodies blackened. Shadows spilled out of the cracks. Not normal shadows. These moved independently, stretching and rising like silhouettes detached from bodies. They gathered their forms, tall, faceless, flickering like flames trapped in ice, and they began walking toward the tribe. Not running, not lunging, walking. Slow, deliberate, inevitable. The first to fall was old Marek, the storyteller. A shadow brushed his arm, only brushed. His skin froze instantly, turning black. His voice vanished mid-scream. His body crumbled like ash. Panic erupted. The Cathari ran in all directions, but the valley shifted around them like a maze rearranging itself. Paths narrowed, rocks moved, cliffs elongated. The shadows did not need to chase. They only followed. And the valley delivered its victims. Shira screamed desperately for everyone to run toward the center, toward the ancient stone circle half buried in the earth. Harold, finally realizing the horror he had unleashed, carried his daughter Aruna as he ran through the smoke-filled dark. Those who hesitated were swallowed by shadow. The survivors reached the circle, just as a wave of darkness rolled over the valley. Inside the circle, the air was warm. The stones glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. For a moment, it felt safe. But outside, the shadows gathered, dozens, maybe hundreds. They pressed against the invisible barrier, distorting it like skin stretched too thin. Harel held Aruna close. Shira prepared her final ritual. But the largest shadow stepped forward. It was impossibly tall, its head nearly brushing the cliff tops. Its body rippled with shifting faces, human, animal, monstrous, all screaming silently. It spoke without a mouth, its voice vibrating the stones. "We do not hate you. We only hunger. We slept long. You woke us. You warm the dark." The barrier cracked. Harel screamed for Shira to finish the rite. She sliced her palm open and began chanting words that no living tongue should speak. Light erupted from the circle. The shadows shrieked not in fear, but in anticipation. Because the light was not sealing them out. It was letting something else in. The ground beneath the circle heaved. The soil tore apart. Something rose, not a creature, but a memory of one. A shape of light and stone, ancient and wounded. A guardian left behind by the old gods. It fought the shadows, but it was weak. Its stone armor cracked. Its light flickered like a dying fire. Shira fell to her knees, blood pouring from her eyes. The guardian's presence was too strong for a mortal mind. Harel tried to protect his daughter, but the shadows closed in from all sides. And then, the guardian shattered. Light exploded outward. Harel heard Aruna scream, then nothing. When other tribes finally reached Avaruun months later, drawn by rumors of strange lights, they found no bodies, no campfires, no tools, no bones, no signs of life at all. Only shadows burned into rock walls, silhouettes of men, women, and children frozen mid-run. The pillars stood whole again, as if they had never cracked. The valley was silent. But if one placed an ear against the stones, they could hear voices. Hundreds of them, thousands. Some crying, some begging, some laughing, some whispering, "Warmth, warmth, more warmth." Legends claim the valley still shifts. Travelers swear they see silhouettes watching from the mist. Hunters who enter never return, but their voices return in the wind. It is said the predecessors still sleep and the seals thin every winter. Sometimes at night, in forgotten corners of the world, a whisper emerges from the darkness. "We wake soon. Bring warmth. Bring life." And those who hear it never sleep well again.